do you recall, and this is always interesting for me to ask brothers like yourself, because I don't think anybody who knows you could ever think of you. I certainly can't. I can't think of a DeVon Franklin who was never rooted in the pursuit of manhood. Like I've known you, I know a very specific DeVon Franklin. And in my head, I can't even fathom the male version of DeVon. So let me just ask you this. Do you recall any times in your life where you felt like you were being more male than man? See, I
Um,
stumped you.
Man, more male than man. See, I don't think that there is a time when where I would have been more male than man. I would say that there have been
I've
times.
always seen you as a servant, bro.
Oh well,
That's
that's that.
I
Thank you,
can't
man.
I
I
can't
try.
imagine a time in your life where you were just like out simply serving yourself, like living a life that was just
No,
feeding
no, I don't think I've ever
flesh.
done that.
Yeah,
But even in being a man, there
yeah.
have been moments of maleness. Like dating multiple women. Not
Oh, okay,
always having
okay.
a good intent for them. Just kind of
Yes,
dating them because it's what I wanted to do, and wasn't necessarily taking into consideration the condition of their heart and how serious they may have been taking our interaction. So for sure, even in practicing manhood, there have been moments and elements of maleness that I had to really reconcile, and I had to really get over for me to understand that that wasn't right. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have treated her that way. I shouldn't have just taken her out because I felt like it, but I didn't mean anything by it. There were elements of maleness that I had to really reconcile.
so okay, I'm gonna move to this. Was there ever a time in your life where you felt like there was something that you experienced that activated you pursuing a higher space of manhood? What would that thing be? Was there ever something that ignited that? Something that inspired you to go, yeah, I got to take my, even though I feel like I'm walking in manhood now, this right here makes me know that I gotta elevate my manhood walk.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that it goes back. I mean, as far as really that moment of losing, my father. I mean, I think
Mm,
that was a moment. And I mean, some people handle that in different ways.
yeah,
Some people, rebel and they, become the very thing they're trying to avoid, and
right,
others go the opposite direction.
right,
So for me, I went the opposite direction. I mean, even at that age, I recognized that, okay, there's something wrong with how he passed, that he was not, I mean, there was no funny business around his passing. It's just he had a heart attack, right? He was alcoholic, he had smoked, he drank, he knew he
yeah,
needed to take care of himself. He knew that his heart wasn't in the right condition, but he didn't do anything about it. And as a result, he passed. But I knew that, like, me at this age and not having a father, I knew that that wasn't right. And I
right.
could, and I remember the moments, growing up when he would come home drunk and, we'd be late to school. And there was just so much turmoil at times when he was around. And so growing up, I had a real clear picture of the elements of him that I did not want to become.
Mm-hmm.
So, upon his passing, I was pretty clear that, okay, here's what I want to do. I was very driven. Here's who I want to be. I was like, I'm not gonna drink. Still haven't drank to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, you know what? I just don't want to do it. I'm not afraid of it. I just, know that what it has done in my family is not something I want to do. Just it's not even
Right,
a thought.
right,
But I made those decisions at a very early age, and maybe those decisions I'm gonna make something of my life, and I'm gonna do something, with my life that's different than maybe what my father did, or my father's brothers, or my grandfather on my father's side, and all that. So it was really early. It was very early getting that message, and then really committing myself to see that through.
how have people benefited from you elevating your space of manhood? and making sure that you don't live a life of being a male, but in fact, living a life as a great man? How have people around you benefited from that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I like your definition, of manhood about, men being of service. So, if I use that to help answer the question, so it's like, elevating my level of service. That really comes from, a deep desire to make an impact in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that drives me. Is like, okay, how can I, make an impact? How can I positively, help? I mean, there's
That's you
so much.
all day, bro. I mean, every movie I've ever seen you make, like, is all about what
That's
other
it.
people are going to get from it.
That's it. That's what it is, and that is something I'm really obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it because I know what it's like to not get that. Again, growing up and being a middle child and losing my father, and always kind of feeling like, okay, well, where do I fit? So when you feel displaced, the things that really made me feel more at home were, either going to church or, watching, movies, the Per Color Purple, Cosby Show, Different World. These are the things that made me say, oh, these are things giving me hope. So,
Mhm.
if these can help me, maybe I can help somebody else. And so
Mhm.
as I've grown, I've gotten more cognizant of the necessity of service, and I've also grown in my capacity to serve. As I've matured, as I've read, studied, experienced life, these things have increased that capacity. And so for me, others have benefited, I think, because, I think that a lot of times males are selfish. And so as a result, if
Yes.
you are a selfish, there's nothing wrong with self-care,
Yes.
different than being selfish.
Yes.
And I think that as a male, if you are selfish, then you are taking from. So all those around you, you are depleting. When you are a man, you are giving,
In
you are
in
serving, you're
increasing.
increasing as much as you can, right? Some
Yes,
people may not be
indeed.
open to that. That's fine. So I think that my hope, and again, it'd probably be a better question to ask those around me, but my hope is that they have, grown, that they've been inspired and challenged and motivated to become their best self. And I mean, people, say like, okay, being around me is great, but it's also hard
Yeah.
because who I am is who I am. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like I'm not
Yes.
presenting a different image to the public and then I'm something different at home.
That's right.
Like
That's
I'm
right.
obsessed, when it comes to being who I'm supposed to be and doing what I can do and maximizing my capacity to serve and staying motivated, staying inspired, staying, read up and educated, all those things. Like this is what I do.
Yes.
I'll get up,
Yes.
5 in the morning, run till midnight. Like, yo, let's go. Let's go. Like
Yep.
that's how I live. So, people around me, I think, benefit from that because they see a model of it, but at the same time, I think they, sometimes have to say, okay, well, wait a minute, let me figure out what that looks like for me, right? Because
Right.
trying to be me is not going to work, and me trying to be them is not going to work.
Right.
But overall, my hope is that the impact is motivation, inspiration, and a real drive to become their best self.
How can manhood help where we are and what we're experiencing in society today? Because it feels like our society has sort of handed the baton to our women because they don't trust us anymore. And I have often said that the reason why society doesn't trust us as men anymore is because they're having a very tough time in distinguishing the difference between males and men. Every man that you meet is a male, but not every male that you meet is a man. But because we're confused about how to distinguish between the two, society is just like, you know what? I'm throwing my hands up with all of you guys. We're just going to pass this baton to our women. How can manhood help where we are and what we're experiencing in society today?
Well, I think, again, going back to your definition, manhood being of service, I think that we all would agree that we are in need right now of as much service as we can possibly get. And that service comes in the form of leadership. That service comes in the form of consideration, care, sensitivity. That service can come also in the form of authority, and asserting that authority in a way that's appropriate and not in a way that is demeaning or abusive. And so I do believe that when you look at it through that lens, the need is great. And I think that it all starts with every man looking in the mirror. I mean, hey, Michael did the song, but there's a lot of truth in it. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And that mantra, that song is so important. Every man's got to look in the mirror and has to decide, who do I want to be today? And then in the next day, got to get up and say, who do I want to be today? And consistently, because it's very easy because society, as much as, to your point, maybe society, has passed the baton, or in certain ways, maybe not, I don't know. But what has happened, though, is that it's very easy for, as men, because we are coddled growing up and we are taught almost that, being a man is almost a superior gender. That's kind of ingrained in us. The reason why I say every man has to make the decision what type of man they want to be on that day is because it's very easy for that subtle arrogance to creep in if we don't really check it.
Yes.
Just because we're a man, does that mean our way goes? Does that mean everything we say go like? Where do we get that from? You know what I mean? Where is that? I don't understand.
Males.
Yeah.
Who we got from males. We got that from males.
Right. So I do think that there is an opportunity. I think there's a necessity to lead, to serve. And then I go, I'm reminded, of the text in Ephesians 5, where, so often we're so focused, society, culture wants to focus on, wives, submit yourselves to your husbands. And, is she submitting? That's an independent, that's the scriptures talking to women. That ain't got nothing to do with that. That ain't our business.
Right.
It didn't say, husbands, make sure your wives submit.
Right.
It says, wives, here's what you should do. But it says, husbands, here's your charge. You're supposed to love her as Christ loved the church. He gave his life for the church. It doesn't say love her if she submits. It doesn't say love her if fill in the blank. No, your charge is to love. So when I look at that, I say, okay, so manhood for us is built on sacrifice. But we're taught manhood from the standpoint of, no, we go first. We're first. No, but when you look at it from a scriptural lens, no, everyone around us has to be first. The women in our lives have to be first. The family has to be first. We are supposed to sacrifice. When you look at that, the sacrifice of Christ giving everything for us. Even when we didn't agree, even when we rejected, he still yet died for us as sinners. And so that idea that manhood in the scriptures is talked about in that context is incredibly powerful. And I think that if we as men were to daily take on that charge, who can I sacrifice for today? Who can I serve today? We would see astronomical, immediate change in the world we live in today. I do believe that.
Brother, I couldn't have said it better. And that's why I allowed you to say it.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that.